B&E Ball Talk. Hey guys, welcome back to B&E Ball Talk. We will be missing Steve tonight, so T's and P's to him. Everybody say some prayers for Steve. Nothing serious going on. He's just got other commitments going on. So we are going to start with our recap of Week 5. We will start with Thursday Night Football. The best Thursday night game we've had in years, honestly. I mean, this was a must-watch. This is a great game. The Falcons win 36-30 in overtime. The Bucs had this game in hand for a while, and the Falcons just stayed in it long enough to come up clutch at the end. And Kirk was clutch. What do you guys have on this one?
Kirk, like that's the Falcons are laughing at everybody else right now for the Penix Kirk Cousins thing. Like they're going to have a great Kirk Cousins and he's going to pass the torch to a great Michael Penix. Like this is why they brought him in. That game alone, like he could catch fire, man. We know what happens when Kirk goes on a run.
Cannot believe I've fallen asleep in the last minute of the Bucks game and the Eagles game.
And the Falcons
go down to the end.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, dude, you can't count Kirk out, and yeah, like that. That's why he's a difference maker, and that's why he makes the big bucks. Like seriously, he actually earns that ridiculous contract that they paid him. So unlike a lot of the other QBs that we're going to get to later, I guess we can move on to the next one. The Vikings beat the Jets in London, 23-17. This was the Vikings got an early lead and they looked like they were in control, but then the Jets had a chance at the end to tie it up. But Rodgers had 3 bad interceptions in this game. He looked rattled. I know he doesn't have the best O-line, but I don't know, man. He had some bad interceptions. This was not their best game, but they were in London. The big story out of this one was Robert Saleh got fired. They made the trip home, but they fired him the next day. Shocking move, and I just want to say I wish Steve was on because his bold prediction of the year was that no coaches would get fired in season, and we have like a record Week 5 firing. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Didn't we literally talk about last week that Salah just isn't a good coach?
Yeah, we all said I think everyone in the football world agrees he's a great defensive mind, great D coordinator, but he clearly just doesn't know what the fuck he's doing as a head coach.
I think it's a good move.
Yeah, I do too. Here's what's frustrating though is you had Rodgers in the building last year. If it wasn't going to work, you should have known last year, and they should have hired a better coach in this offseason, especially when you got guys like Belichick and Vrabel out there. I think Vrabel would be kind of a similar hire to Saleh, so I could understand not wanting him. But Belichick, I mean, why wouldn't you want to bring him, especially when your rival is the Patriots? That's even more salt in the wound. So I think the Jets they're a horribly ran organization, and firing your coach in Week 5 isn't a good sign. But for this season, it probably was a good move.
You left out the biggest thing that came out today though was how he was fired. The fact
Yeah.
that the owner didn't even talk to the GM, fired him 5 minutes after Salah demoted Nathaniel Hackett.
Oh, I didn't know that.
What? Yeah, dude, that's the story. Schefter brought it out today. So it's nobody knew that was going to happen. The owner was just like, "Nope, we're done with this shit." And that just shows you there. Apparently, they said Rodgers knew nothing about it, but 5 minutes after Hackett was demoted and then Salah's fired, and they escorted him out of the building. They said it was the first time a head coach has been security walked out of a facility. It was just weird, dude.
Rodgers was playing dumb on the McAfee show is pissing me off. To act like he had nothing to do with it is the most ridiculous shit. No one fucking believes that. I don't think Rodgers stood on a milk crate and said, "Get this fucker out." I don't think he was like that, but obviously he's the influence here. But also, I don't know, reading the stats, his record as a head coach was not good. The Jets have been bad since he's been the coach. So, but again, this move should have been done last offseason, and then you would actually have a chance at a better coach than think of all the new hires from last year. They're probably an improvement from what Saleh is this year. So I'm sorry, what's his name? Woody Johnson's the owner of the Jets.
Yeah.
That guy is an idiot.
Well, he's a big Trump guy, but what I will say is I think what's crazy that let's all not forget, like let's not get upset for Robert too much because I saw a tweet today that over the next 2 years he's going to make 300K a month just by them paying him off. Like he doesn't need to go do shit for a while. He'll go get a DC job in a couple years and be back in the NFL again. Like that's what's going
Ed,
to happen.
Dude,
Ed Ogeron said it best. The best job in the world is being a fired football coach.
I was to say, Big Cat said today, there's no better time to be fired than during football season.
Yep. Seriously, like think about just being
Such a
like
good
you're
point.
getting like because think about it. He could go like if he still wanted to be around the game, he could easily go to like the Niners or somewhere and just like watch practices and just like give his input and shit like that while getting paid by another team in the league. So it's just yeah, great. I don't feel bad for Salah, and I like if he didn't see the writing on the wall, he's an idiot. All right, that's enough Jets talk. The next game we got is the Bears killed the Panthers 36-10. Andy Dalton did not have a revenge game, and Caleb Williams is starting to actually look really good, unbiased. Like he is starting to develop a lot more, and he's looking good, better. He's looking better and better each week, which is obviously what you want to see. And clearly, they played the Panthers, so like competition's not great, but like a win is a win in the NFL, and he's starting to look like he's making better decisions. Their offense is clicking a little more. DJ Moore had a game in this, didn't he? Did he have 2 touchdowns?
Yeah.
That's the key, man. Get him involved. He's so good. If they just get him the rock, like how could you not be successful?
And Swift popped off for the second straight game too.
Yeah, and he was a bust early, and people were like, "What the fuck?" But yeah, I have always liked him out of college, and I thought he was good in with the Eagles. So I was kind of shocked to see that he wasn't doing good. But yeah, good for the Bears. I mean, shit, they're stacking up wins. They're looking good in a tough division. They're getting important wins in a tough division.
I can't
And
wait until the NFC North starts playing each other.
yeah, yeah, the divisional games are going to start ramping up more. I feel like so that'll be fun. Next game, the Commanders beat the Browns 34-13. This was another out of hand game. Deshaun looked lost. He looked so bad, and it's just everyone on the planet knows what the right thing to do would be. It just seems like the Browns have too much pride. But Jaden Daniels actually didn't go that nuts in this game, but he just continues. Like their offense is just putting up points at a crazy rate, and no one seems to be able to stop him. Like the Browns are a great defense, so um, the Commanders keep marching on, dude.
Coaching matters.
Yeah,
Kingsbury being that OC makes a world of difference.
and I think Dan Quinn took everything that I think like him getting fired from Atlanta and learning from that, and then going to be a DC and having all that success with like Dallas. I really like him, man. I can't help but root for that team right now. There's a lot to like there. All right, next game we got the Dolphins beat the Patriots 15-10. This game happened. We really don't have to spend any time on this.
Drake May, Drake May next week.
Oh yeah, Drake May will be starting. It was announced he will be the starter next week, which I think is so stupid. Their O line is so bad.
Snoop Huntley, third straight start.
Yeah, and he finally got a win, so good for him. All right, next game, the Colts and the Jags. The Jags beat the Colts 37-34. This was a barn burner. Trevor Lawrence gets a big win, and we all did not know the stat, but it has been a decade of the Colts not winning in Jacksonville. This was year 10 of that streak continuing, which is pretty nuts. But had we known that, I know I would have changed my pick in this game. I don't know about you guys.
I probably would have.
Yeah, like that's just a crazy stat. That sucks to be a Colts fan because, like, even if you get the Jags in a bad year, like this year, you got to get a win like that, and they fell short. Flacco looked good. I guess I think the Colts D looks like they let up a lot on this one.
Big time.
Brian Thomas went off.
He's he's like the only bright spot for the Jags this year, but he is low key. He's going under the radar because he's on such a bad team, but he's been phenomenal this year.
Dude, this could end up being the best wide receiver rookie class of all time, which I didn't think I was going to say again after what we saw a few years ago with Justin Jefferson and Jamar. But like, who knows, dude? Because there's like 4 with receivers from this past draft that like I would consider to be like all pro level in maybe a couple years if they keep up this trajectory. Like
Dude, it
great.
just like you said, like just it just goes to show the receiver position, the quality coming out of college is probably the highest compared to every other position in football. These guys are NFL ready immediately, and I do think like just the practicing and the training that they do like in college now is just so it's they're able to do more advanced shit, and they're pro ready. Like these guys are literally stepping in these pro style offenses and they're still elite. So I don't. It's just something to think about, like with drafting receivers, because you're getting guys in even in the later rounds that they come out to be stars. So, but yeah, good for the Jags on actually hitting a first rounder.
Yeah.
So Trevor Lawrence gets a lot of shit when he has a bad game, but he only had 6 incompletions for 371 and 2 touchdowns. And I haven't heard one person say anything positive about Trevor Lawrence this week.
I'm
Let's see a
surprised.
streak.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised Nick Wright didn't say anything about the prince that was promised. Yeah, that's. Thank you for saying that, Scott, because I am a T-Law defender. So, all right, next game. This was a really good one too. The Texans end up beating the Bills 23-20. This one came down to the wire. The terrible coaching decision at the end by McDermott. He played conservative and they punted the ball back. They did not try to win the game with time on the clock. And just the Texans took care of business, even though they had some late turnovers that really should have screwed them over in this game. But a win is a win. This was a huge win for the AFC rankings. Yeah, the Texans only have one loss. They're looking really good. CJ Stroud, man, he continues to impress. Even when he has flubs like he did in this game, he still comes back with ice in his veins, gets them into field goal range. They win the game.
Pour one out for the people that had the over because we missed it by about 4 points, and there was about
I
20
was looking
points
at
that
that
should have
before we
been
started.
scored. There should have been about 20 points
Yeah.
that weren't scored in that game. It was just
And
ugly.
Josh Allen hurt his MVP hopes in this game. He was rough. I think he had like 6 completions or something crazy like that.
Yeah,
It
it
was
wasn't a
bad.
good game.
So McDermott's never going to win the big one. He's not
Never.
a good coach.
I
And
think he's a good coach. He's just not there.
I mean, that goes a long way. Got to be there to be a good coach. And then after Nico Collins left the game, Houston did not score a touchdown for 3 quarters.
Damn, that's interesting to think about coming up these few weeks, because Nico Collins is going to be he's on IR, so he's at least missing 4 weeks.
But
That's huge.
Joe Mixon is back though.
That'll help the running game. Yeah, I think Joe Mixon will definitely help by giving them that running game. And this is why you go and get a guy like Stephon Diggs in the offseason, because if they didn't have him, their wide receiver depth would look like shit. So good on them for making a move in the offseason. That's why you do it. So Stephon's got to step
Tank
up.
Dell becomes much more important again.
Yep. All right. Next one. This was, I think, game of the week, if not the Thursday night one. Ravens beat the Bengals 41-38, and this one was just crazy. The last few minutes of this one was just insane. Goes to overtime. Lamar fumbles at midfield, but the Bengals play it conservative, and they have a botched hold. They miss the kick, and then Derrick Henry gets them down to like the 5-yard line for a chip shot for Tucker. Even Tucker in a bad year can't miss that one. So Ravens get a huge divisional win, and even bigger is the Bengals fall to 1-4, and it's tough to come back from 1-4. This was a great game. I think this one lived up to the hype more than any game. This was awesome. So much offense, a lot of scoring.
Yeah, this was my game of the week. It was obviously I'm biased. I have Jamar Chase on my fantasy team and Joe Burrow, but like watching them two when they are on, dude, is like you saw it in college. Now you see it in the pros. Like it's so sick to watch. But like Lamar had a hell of a game. Derrick Henry is just a difference maker, and that's why they brought him in.
Yeah.
Rough defense
I
though.
think
Ravens were struggling
the
on D though.
Bengals can only afford like 2 or 3 more losses on the year total, where they are probably eliminated from playoffs.
Yeah, no, they're in trouble. And what sucks if you're like a Bengals fan is like The offense is doing everything they can. The offense is not the problem by any means. In every game they've played this year, the Bengals offense has been good. Their
Yeah.
defense is so bad this year. And I think this is just the accumulation of losing those guys that were on that Super Bowl team. Like I think the biggest mistake they made was letting Jesse Bates go to Atlanta. Like when he left, I know that was last year. They had a decent defense without him, but leadership from at the top like that is important. And you're just seeing. I mean, if they have their D line is really fucking bad because they lost DJ Reader in the middle. Like it just goes to show how important just one guy can be to a defense in a huge position like that. But yeah, dude, I agree, Scott. They're fucked if they lose just a few more games. I mean, it's going to be a long road, and their schedule isn't going to get any easier. So,
And I mean, dude, like they are closing their window too. They're not going to have T. Higgins next year. They're going to pay Jamar Chase, Trey Hendrickson. Like Loki wants to be paid or he's out. Like all their big time players want to be paid, and they
and
just do it.
what's interesting is
Jamar's price is going up.
yeah, like they hit on the big ones. They did. They hit on Jamar. They hit on Joe. Like all that stuff. But these last few drafts, they've been drafting secondary, and I'm a Michigan man, I'll admit it, but they have not been hitting on these corners that they've been drafting or these hybrid safeties, like these DBs that they've been drafting. They're solid players, but they were first rounders, and they're not living up to the bill that was paid for them. So Bengals got to shore up that defense, or they're fucked because they're Swiss cheese right now. All right, next game. Broncos beat the Raiders 34-18, and Bo Nix is starting to put together a pretty good season. We joked a lot early on, but Broncos keep chugging along. They are the best team or second best team in the AFC West behind the Chiefs. Didn't see this coming. I don't think anyone saw this coming from the Broncos. Sean Payton is actually coaching better this year. And that defense for Denver is still legit. It's crazy. It feels like they've had a good defense for so long, but they just continue to be a tough one to score against. So props to the Broncos. They get an important win.
Yeah, ugly game. Like, I mean, nothing stands out to me, but I'll give credit where it's due. Like, there's still time, but I would have thought that the Broncos would have been at the very bottom of the AFC West this year for sure. And it's looking like they probably could land in second place when it's all said and done. And that's like, in my opinion, a massive overachievement this year for them.
I'm excited for their game this week because it'll tell me a lot, I feel like.
Yeah.
All right. Next game. Cardinals get a huge win against 49ers, 24-23. This was a shocker for sure. The Niners are looking like they're in trouble. They've been banged up, and losing a captain and a leader like Christian McCaffrey, I feel like that really threw off their season, and they haven't quite found their footing since. And the Cardinals took advantage this past Sunday. They looked the Cardinals didn't have like a crazy offensive performance. I think they went up early and they just kind of coasted. I forget how this one goes, but at the end of the game, yeah, Kyler had that long run.
That was like the first play of the game.
Yeah.
For like a 50-yard touchdown. Then they literally didn't score a touchdown till the fourth quarter.
Yeah. So they were spotted. They were spotted a 7-point advantage basically to start the game. So, but I mean, Kyler at the end of the game, I did see like they took care of the ball at the end and bled the clock out. So good on them for being clutch. Like that was good for Kyler to get that under his belt, and huge divisional win. And the Cardinals aren't dead. Like their season's very much alive. Anything else on this? Are you guys concerned about the Niners? What do you think about them?
Yeah, they're in trouble.
Man. They usually click and get really hot in the middle of the year.
I don't think this year that's going to happen though. I think McCaffrey's done this year. I don't care what anyone says. Like,
for sure,
dude, his Achilles are both just like dunzo right now, and so it's like you don't just come back from that. So I think he's done, and I haven't seen enough in their run game outside of the first couple games of the season to make me feel like they're going to play good football and play defense. Like I just don't see it this year.
Yeah, dude, I'm not like completely sold that they're gonna make playoffs just because and I like so many teams in the NFC right now, and it's early, but losing early can really bite you in the ass down the season, especially when they haven't played a ton of divisional games. This was one. I mean, they played the Rams, I think, earlier, but I think that all depends on how the Seahawks go, and that brings us to our next game. The Seahawks lose a bad game to the Giants, 29-20 at home. This was a bad loss for the Seahawks. I think this was kind of weird because I feel like offensively, they just couldn't click, and the Giants, Daniel Jones just decided to have a good day. Like Daniel Jones, for all the shit we make fun of him for, he actually did have it's undeniable. He had a good game, but like he's just not consistent, and that's the key to being a good quarterback in the NFL is consistency. But he had a good game. Good for Daniel.
Yeah, the
Danny
biggest thing to
Dimes.
me is the Seahawks defense. I think that's
Oh,
what's
that's
going to ruin them.
right. Their D line, they were missing all four starters. That's right. I forgot.
But not just that,
That'll fucking kill you.
the Giants' backup running back ran for 120 yards on them. Like that, they need to shore up that defense and do it quick. I know they have a good secondary, but like I told you all, they haven't played shit in terms
Elite
of
secondary.
competition. They haven't played shit for competition yet,
Yeah,
and I'd
but
still
dude,
argue that.
four starters on your D line, like what think about Did you guys just see this?
What?
It stopped the recording.
It didn't
Dude,
on
ours
me.
is still going.
Kev,
It's
we're still
doing the
going, dude.
Okay,
last
whatever. We'll fuck it. We'll do it live. All right. I forget where I was at.
You were
What were we
just
talking
I
about?
was saying how the Seahawks haven't played anyone good. That's
Oh
why I
yeah.
said.
All right. We can move on. The Packers take care of business against the Rams, 24-19. They did cover, thank God. But they made it closer than it needed to be. This was just Packers kind of sleptwalked through the end of this game. They played with their food a little bit, but they covered and they won at the end. And this was a home game for the Packers.
Solid win.
it's crazy how tight the NFC West is. Like no one's running away with it. So it's like
I
you know
know.
what the Rams are losing right now, and they don't even have like their top players. So
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm not super concerned for the Niners. Like, but if one of these
exactly,
teams, like the Seahawks, start like running away with it, or who knows, the fucking Cardinals. I don't see the Rams and the Cardinals. I just don't believe in Kyler. But like, it's kind of bullshit. The Niners could still win the division in a bad year.
Yeah.
All right, next game. The Cowboys beat the Steelers on Sunday Night Football 2017. This was a long rain delay. I'll admit it, I didn't even stay up for this, and I'll usually stay up late, but I think the Cowboys won this on the last drive. Is that right? Yeah.
okay.
So
Yeah.
heartbreaking loss for the Steelers, but a huge win for the Cowboys. I mean, that really helps them out for going down the road because they have a tough schedule. Um, do you guys think they're gonna go away from? I'm not asking if you think they should, but do you think they will go away from Justin Fields?
Switch to Russie.
Yeah.
No, dude, it's Jesse.
Do you think
I think
Tomlin's sticking with him?
I think I think they're gonna play Russie in the next couple
I
weeks.
think they are too, and it's going to piss me off because I don't think they should.
Dude, their offense has been terrible all year though.
Look at their record.
Yeah, 3-2. I
Okay,
mean,
you're playing
offense,
above 500 football, and he's had it. They've had a tough schedule so far. Like it hasn't been a
Big Cat,
cakewalk.
Big Cat's power rankings were really funny for what he
you know,
had for them.
Broncos, Chargers, Colts. I don't know.
He said the Steelers are having the exact same season that they've had the last like decade, and that's true, dude. The Steelers this is what the Steelers do. Like, everybody loves Mike Tomlin, but at some point, like, when is being mediocre enough? You know what I mean? I'm just wondering.
Well, Russ is about as mediocre as you can get, so I don't understand how that would be like a good move.
I agree, dude. You're talking to the wrong guy. I'm a Fields guy. I think Justin Fields will probably eventually get banged up and have to miss a game at some point. So just save it for then. I don't
Let's
know,
move on to
but
the
he
game
is help
everyone
just
else wants to talk about.
Yeah, but he is healthy. Russell Wilson is healthy, so he's an option now. So, all right, last game, the Chiefs take care of business, 26-13 over the Saints. Score doesn't reflect how much of an ass beating this was. The Chiefs really handled the Saints in this one. They shut down Kamara. Chiefs have one of the best run defenses in NFL history right now. I mean, they are on a run right now. And just Derek Carr gets hurt at the end of the game. So Spencer Rattler will be the starter this week for the Saints. That really hurts them. The Saints, they started out 2-0 hot, and they haven't won since, and looks like they could be on a downhill spiral here. What were your guys' notes from this game?
I thought it was the best Mahomes looked all year.
400 passing yards.
Just the way he bounced around in the pocket and extended plays, and he had a couple good runs. Like, I just thought he looked unbelievable.
Kareem Hunt's gonna save our season by this stretch that he's doing right now, man. He's like the link that kept the chain together versus breaking when Pacheco went out, and especially now without Rasheed.
Kareem Hunt had 100 yards. He looked really good, man. He really could be like the cog that like fills in for all of these injuries that we've been dealing with. And Juju, man, shout out to Juju. He had a really bad drop that turned into an interception, so Mahomes' interception streak continues. It should not have, but it did. And Juju made up for it, man. He had that big, long, like a 60-yard catch and run to kind of put the game away. So Juju had over 100 yards receiving. It's just like this is Chiefs football, man. Some new guy is going to step up each week, and we're just going to continue to win. 5-0 going into the bye. I'll be honest, I didn't predict us being 5-0 going into the bye. So we're ahead of schedule. That's good. That'll give us grace down the road.
Agreed.
All right. Moving into our preview for week 6. You guys ready? We're going to start Thursday Night Football. The 49ers take on the Seahawks. Both teams are wearing throwbacks. This one's in Seattle. What is the spread?
San Fran by 3.5, over under 49.5.
Steven has the Seahawks plus 3.5, and I will also be taking the Seahawks here. It's a divisional game. They're at home, and I'm not sold on the Niners yet. I don't trust them yet. I think the Seahawks had a bad loss. They should bounce back.
You know what's weird? So, a couple days ago when I saw the line open, it was Seahawks plus 3, and I loved it. And now, for some reason, I'm fully on board San Fran covering in this game.
With it
I feel
moving
like,
up?
yeah, just for some reason, I've just completely flipped. I feel like San Fran usually kind of takes it to Seattle. I could be wrong, but I'm taking San Fran in this one.
I'm taking the over. Seattle's defense is just that has been that rough, and I have not been impressed with San Francisco's defense at all. This not to the standard that they've been playing at the last few years. So I think the over is possible here.
If the Seahawks D-line is still as banged up as it was last week, the Niners are going to run right through them. Because that's what they do. They just pound the rock. But I don't know. I hope it's a fun game. All right, next we've got London again. The Jaguars playing the home game in London. They've got the Bears. It actually technically is a Bears home game, but the Jags are always playing in London. I think they're actually going back-to-back weeks, the Jags, which is crazy. What's the spread here? Oh, sorry, Jags against Bears.
Bears are favored by 1.5, over under 44.5.
Steve's got the Jags plus 1.5, and it's London, so like I'm gonna take the Jaguars. If this was in the States, even if it was in Jacksonville, I'd probably lean Bears, but it's London. Jags are used to it. Give me the Jags.
I'm taking the Bears strictly because I think their defense is better.
I was thinking that whole time. I was like, their defense is good, but just because it's London.
I'm taking the Bears, same reason as Scott, but I'm also going to add that I think Swift is going to continue his streak of impressive games. I think he's going to be a difference maker.
Nice. All right, next game we got the Bucks taking on the Saints, a big NFC South matchup. This one's in the Dome. We got Spencer Rattler making his first appearance in the NFL. What's the spread here?
Bucks favored by 3.5. Over under 41.5.
I'll take Steve's got the Bucks minus 3.5, and I'm gonna take the Bucks as well.
I like the Bucks. I don't. They're not going to lose 3 in a row.
I'm taking the Bucks too.
And they had a heartbreaking loss last week and divisional loss. So, all right, next we got the Command.
You got to do the B&E sweep
Yeah,
for Steve.
Kev.
Oh,
step
sorry.
up.
And that's a B&E sweep. All right, next we got the Commanders taking on the Ravens. A battle in Maryland. This one's in Baltimore. What's the spread here?
Ravens favored by 6.5. Over under 51.5.
Dude, I mean, I'm gonna ride the commie train. And looks like Steve is as well. I think the commies win outright.
So I'm gonna take. I know it's. I should be taking the Commanders plus 6.5, but I'm gonna take the Ravens. And this just goes back to what I said a couple weeks ago. Lamar just kills the NFC for the most part. I think that Jaden Daniel plays pretty similar to Lamar, so they might be able to game plan for him a little bit better. And for a rookie to go into Baltimore might be a little. I think John Harbaugh will be able to figure out.
Jaden Daniels is Lamar, but he can throw.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like
Still
that's
preparation though.
I know he's a rookie, but just Jaden Daniels he runs so similar to Lamar, but he throws fucking dimes, and that's been Lamar's problem. Lamar's accuracy has never been a strong suit, and dude, Jaden, I'm gonna ride that train. Zach, what are you on?
Kev, who's your fantasy quarterback?
Jaden.
Oh, okay. I um this is a big one. It's a big over, but I'm going for it. I think that the Ravens defense has been very suspect this year. The Commanders defense is nothing great at all.
No,
I think this has like potential to be like a game of the week for sure, but like maybe game of the year if this connects the way it should.
it could be I think it's gonna be similar to the Bengals game last week. I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
agree.
gonna be a lot of offense.
It's gonna be
Someone's
10 to
the
6.
game of the year.
No, I
Yeah,
said like
what kind
from
of
an
game?
entertainment perspective.
Well, you're already locked in on it.
Got hurt game
No,
of the
I'm
year.
not.
All right. Next game, the Cardinals take on the Packers at Lambeau. What's the spread here?
Packers by 5.5. Over under 47.5.
Steve's got the Cardinals, and I'm gonna take the Packers here. The Cardinals. I want the Cardinals to be good, and I'm rooting for them in this game, but I just don't think they have it. I think Jordan Love will. Last week they kind of sleptwalked through the Rams. I think they play better at home in this one.
I'm with you. I think the Packers should put up some points on Arizona, and they got a decent defense. I'll take Green Bay.
Same.
All right, Steve's lone wolfing it there. Next, we got the Colts taking on the Titans. This one is in Tennessee. What's the spread?
Titans favored by 2.5. Over under 43.5.
Wait, Titans what?
Are favored by 2.5.
Steve has the Colts minus 1.5.
Well, it's flipped massively. I wonder if they made
Oh,
Richards.
Michael Pittman's out.
Oh wow, he's worth that much. That's crazy. Well then I'm sure Steve will like the Colts as a dog, right? That's what you get for missing the pot, I guess.
Who's do we even know if Richardson or Flacco's playing?
Richardson is ruled as questionable as it stands right now.
Yeah, I don't know what they're leaning either. So I hate this game. I forgot the Titans play football. They're at home divisional game. I'll take the home divisional. I'll take the Titans here. I hate it.
You do know, is Will Levis out? Or is he back?
He's
Remember
probably
he was like,
replaced.
remember he had his fourth
He's
straight
not on
memes
the.
when he was
He's
like,
not on there.
Yeah, but Mason Rudolph could be the starter. He could have replaced him.
I know, which means that'd be a good pick. But if Will Levis is in,
Yeah, I'll take
Zach,
my
he's not
chances.
on the injury report on
all right, I'm
ESPN.
going Colts.
Um, I I'll take. I'm gonna take the Titans. They're off a bye as well, but if I knew Flacco was playing, I'd probably take Colts.
Say, yeah, I don't know. It's a divisional game. It's a fucking coin toss, anyways. All right, next we got the Texans taking on the Patriots. This one's in Gillette. This is an ugly game. What's the spread here?
Houston favored by 7, over under 38.5.
Steve took the over. I'm going to. Sorry, what was the spread?
7.
Ugh. Ugh. Dude, the Patriots suck. But Drake May starting. Yeah, give me the Texans.
I'm with Steve. I'm gonna take the over. That seems pretty low.
I'm
Drake
taking
May.
I'm taking the over.
Drake May be able to sling it a little more.
You guys are all in the over? Okay, love that. All right, next game, the Browns take on the Eagles. This one's in Philly. What's the spread here?
Philly favored by 9.5, over under 42.5.
Yeah, Steve likes that big spread for the Browns. Steve's going to take the Browns. And I'm going to be honest, I think I'm going to take the Browns here because I think we could see a Jameis sighting.
I was thinking the exact same thing, Kev. I'm taking the Browns.
I was not thinking that. Don't. I just don't like the Eagles to cover that many points. This is like a toss up to me, but I'll take Cleveland.
That's a beanie sweep. All right. Next, we got the Chargers taking on the Broncos. This one's in Denver. I'm very excited for this game as a Chiefs fan. We're on a bye week this week, so I'll be paying attention to this one just to see what our divisional foes are looking like. What's the spread here?
Chargers are favored by 2.5, over under 35.5.
Steve's on the Broncos, and so am I.
I'm taking the under.
It's a great pick, Scott. I'm gonna take the Broncos though.
All right. Next, we got the Steelers taking on the Raiders. This one's in Las Vegas. I wonder how the crowd's going to be looking in this one. A lot of terrible towels, I'm guessing. What's the spread here?
Pittsburgh favored by 3, over under 36.5.
Steve is taking Pittsburgh, and yeah, man, the Raiders are not what I expected this year. They're pretty fucking bad.
We're gonna get a QB bump though. Aiden
Yeah,
O'Connell.
yeah, I don't think so. I'm gonna take, you know, I'm gonna take the Steelers here, but I wouldn't be shocked if they won and didn't fucking cover just because the Steelers play tight games like that.
I'm taking the under again. I don't know if Devontae Adams is playing either.
He wants out.
I'm taking the
Yeah.
Steelers.
All right, next we got the Falcons taking on the Panthers. This one's in Carolina. What's the spread here?
Falcons favored by 6.5, over under 46.5.
Steve is taking Atlanta, and I will be doing the same.
I'm gonna take Carolina in this one.
I'm taking Atlanta.
What? Can you tell me why Carolina?
I'll kind of tell you the exact same reason I told you the Giants over the Seahawks when you asked me the same question. Just like statistics are showing that 5.5 point spreads, those teams are winning. Plus, it's a divisional game and it's in Carolina, so it could be tighter. Atlanta Falcon games usually go down to the wire,
Yeah,
win or lose.
yeah, but this is like I don't know. I think they'll
On the
feast.
road divisional game,
I think they'll feast in this one because
they
they've been playing
could.
tight games.
I don't like this game at all. Like I wouldn't bet it, but I'm just taking the plus points.
Divisional games are tough. All right, next game we got the Lions taking on the Cowboys. This one's in Dallas. What's the spread here?
Lions -3, over under 52.5.
Do the Lions have any injuries? Notable ones?
I think so.
I don't think so. Yeah, this line's kind of wacky to me. Give me the Lions. And
I'm
oh,
under
sorry, Steve's got the Lions.
same.
Same.
That's a B&E sweep. All right, next we've got Sunday Night Football. The Bengals. They gotta change flexing rules. They gotta be able to flex this out. The Bengals take on the Giants in MetLife. What's the spread here?
Bengals favored by 3.5. Over under 48.5.
Steve is taking the Giants, and I am not. I'll be taking the Bengals. If the Bengals lose this game, it's a wrap. Season's over.
I completely agree, and I don't think they're going to be able to stop like T. Higgins and Jamar Chase.
I'm taking the Bengals.
Was that a?
No,
No,
Steve took.
Oh yes. Fuck. That's crazy to me. All right. Last but not least, we got the Bills taking on the Jets Monday Night Football. New interim head coach is the DC of the Jets. This guy was on Hard Knocks like last year. I actually kind of like this guy. He seems like an intense like football guy. I forget his name's escaping me. What's the spread here?
Bills by 2.5. Over under 40.5.
I'm not going to overthink it. I think I'm going to take the interim head coach bump here, and I'm going to take the Jets. Steve is on the Bills.
My gut has been telling me to just take the Jets. I feel like they always play the Bills kind of tight, and their defense is always pretty good against Josh Allen. But I also saw today Allen has never lost 3 games in a row.
Ooh.
But I'm gonna take the Jets too. I'm just going with my gut.
It's funny. What'd you say, Zach?
I said I'm taking the Jets, and I think they win outright.
You know what's funny is my gut is telling me take the Bills, but because of the firing of Salah, I feel like the players are going to be like, they're going to be up for this one. So I'm going to stay Jets. All right, that does it for our Week 6 preview. Now we're gonna do our locks of the week. Scott, I'll let you go ahead and read the records. I was lost. I had me and Zach's record, but I didn't know what yours and Steve's was.
Yeah, all good. You and I won our locks last week with the Packers.
Yeah.
Zach and Steve lost. You are 3-2, and me, Zach, and Steve are 2-3.
Okay.
And then me and Zach went 6-6. You went 7-5, and Steve went. Okay, wait, never mind. I didn't add in Sunday Night Football and Monday night. What was the Sunday night game?
It was
Steelers, Cowboys.
Steelers and Cowboys.
Steve's the only one that got that one, and then he took the Saints. So let's see. We all went about. I'll put in our records from last week, but we all went about 500 last week.
Sweet. I have a few questions. What was the spread for the Texans Patriots? 6.5?
7.
7.
7. Okay. I think I'm gonna go with the Packers was over the Cardinals. What was that?
5.5.
5.5.
Right?
It
Yeah.
is still 5.5. Okay, yeah, I like that. 2 weeks in a row, Packers.
Okay.
Kev, do you want to read Steve's?
I don't have his lock of the week. Sorry.
It's Denver +3.
Oh yeah, that's right. Steve is going to take Denver over the Chargers, and that was +3.
It's at 2.5 now. What do you want to give him?
Let's just give him 2.5.
We'll just make a standing rule that when you send in picks, it's locked in.
Okay.
How about that? Well, no. Sorry, opposite. You just have to fluctuate with the line when we read the pod. That's what I meant to
Yeah.
say.
I'm gonna take the Lions -3.
Dude, I was between 2 games, and
But Scott, I forgot about that wacky line.
Yeah, I feel like the Lions, dude, they're coming off a bye too. They should smash Dallas. Maybe even the over.
Can you take the over so I can take the Lions?
No, we rode locks together last week. You can join me again.
I think I'm going to because I forgot about that line. I think that line's crazy. I'm gonna switch.
Okay.
Bitches.
Dude, I'm sorry. I forgot because I remember that was the one that stuck out when we were going over lines. Zach, what were you taking?
I am gonna. I guess I adamantly disagree with Steve's pick because I'm taking the Bengals to as my lock of the week. Steve has the Giants covering, but I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take the Bengals. I think that they're gonna go in prime time. Jamar Chase is gonna make a difference. Joe Burrow is gonna hook up. T Higgins, like they're not gonna have enough to stop him.
What was the spread in that one?
3.5, I believe.
Yeah, that spread's also kind of sus. I mean, I know the Bengals the record sucks, but and as a Chiefs fan, no offense, Zach, I will be rooting against that.
I just don't think they're gonna. I think they'll be fine.
As a Chiefs fan, did I say Bengals? All right, moneyline parlay. Did Steve have a pick here?
Yeah, he's got the Buccaneers.
Okay. Yeah, I like that idea. Like Baker, I don't think that in that same vein. Fuck, I can't do it. I was gonna say Bills because Josh Allen won't lose 3 in a row, but I picked the Jets. So, Scott, what are you thinking? Money parlay.
Who did Steve's got the Bucks?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. I'll take. I want to do my lock. Give me
this slate
who,
kind of sucks.
who did you take, Kev? Did you go yet?
I have not.
Okay, give me the Packers.
I'll take the Steelers.
Damn, I was looking at them. Let's cap this off with the Lions. I'll take them.
All
Okay,
right.
I like that. Let me see what that brings our
This is gonna hit this
odds
week. I'm
to.
calling it my shot.
Okay, Steelers, Lions, Packers, and what was the last one? Bucks.
Buccaneers.
All right, that brings us to plus 456.
Kind of a lower risk, but
All right, we
let's get
need
a
to.
dub. Get a
Yeah,
dub
we
on
need
the
to get
board.
on board.
All right. Any hot takes? Bull predictions?
Um,
I mean,
nothing
I
that
was
comes to mind.
Kev, it's funny that you had said it earlier because it wasn't going to be like a hot, spicy take, but a somewhat bold prediction was I was going to say we were going to see Jameis not this week but next week. I think Deshaun is going to have a miserable game, and I think eventually the Browns are going to have to move and give JMO a shot, and I just feel like that might be next week.
I'll make that my bold prediction that Jameis comes in this week. That's my bold prediction. But I my other bold prediction that I'm just gonna go with. I think this is gonna happen with how the NFC looks right now. I don't know. I think this actually would be the first time in NFL history that this would happen. But I think the entire NFC North is making playoffs.
It's gonna be really, really hard for that to happen.
You're saying the Buccaneers and Falcons, both of them won't make it. One of them won't make it. I'm saying.
It's gonna be tight, dude. I know they
So
play a lot of
what's the
divisional
worst
games.
record in the NFC North going to be? 9-8,
I think
10-7.
like
Statistically, it
mathematically,
would have to be.
yeah, I think mathematically one would have to be. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't even know if it's possible, but like, dude, I'm just so high on that entire division. There, I think every single team in that division like competes very well against each other. I don't even know who my favorite in that division is.
Actually, I think you could be better off than 9-8. Now that I'm thinking about it,
Yeah, like I don't know if it's statistically possible, but
you
that's
only play
that's
6 conference games. You know,
yeah,
like there's 4 in a
and like
conference. You
and
play
think
6
about it.
total.
If they all beat each other up and win
Yeah.
outside of their conference,
Even if you lost every conference game, you could still finish 11-6. Like if you won every out of conference game or
Yeah,
like
but like
division.
that would
Sorry, I
never
keep saying
happen.
conference. I meant division.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I just think they'll beat up on each other, and I do. It's going to be a tight race in that division. Like the last week of the regular season, someone's getting kicked out and someone's going in. You
Yeah.
know,
What happens in Indy if Richardson goes out there and just fucking sucks?
they just roll with him.
Flacco just put up 34 points.
If you put Richardson out there, you're saying we're rolling with him. Like you can't bench him. You know, like if he gets hurt, that's one thing, but benching him for Flacco, that's like the Bryce Young situation. Like, how could you go back to Bryce after the damage that's been done?
Well, and now that you don't have Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor still out, I think they have like 2 offensive linemen hurt. Like, if
Yeah,
you
they
play
should.
Richardson, they shouldn't play Richardson. They should play Flacco this week and wait to get a little healthier. But if you do play Richardson, you can't pull him. You have no team, no real team around him. All their best players are out.
Yeah,
I think you sit him another week, in my opinion. But
I agree. Anything else, boys?
rest up. It's bye week.
Yep. Chiefs undefeated in the bye week. Love it. And that's being the ball talk.